Hello and welcome back to the Konich-Yeehaw podcast. I'm Jared.
And I'm Natalie.
And today we're going to review fall 2022.
Yes.
And the shows that we watched during that. First off is Chainsaw Man.
Yes.
What did you think?
Yes, well, it was probably one of the most anticipated things that came out this past season.
Most definitely.
I think that, well, first of all, overall, I think it was good. Now, my thing was that, personally, I wish the pacing was a little bit faster.
Yeah.
Because it does feel like we're still kind of nowhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Characters are developing. We're getting the world, the lore, everything. And I like the characters. Also, I have grown really fond of the characters, and I'm excited to see what season 2 brings. But my overall thing was just, I kind of wish that it was a little bit faster.
Yeah, me too.
Just a little bit. I think it maybe relied a little bit on the hype, and decided to build drama, and not really release the tension of drama all the way. Mm-hmm. I mean, it did in some points.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's not like nothing happened.
It's not like nothing happened.
Like,
I'm not trying to say that nothing happened, but I definitely found myself wishing that things moved a little faster. Mm-hmm. But it was good. I really liked it, and I'm excited to see what happens next.
Yeah.
What did you think?
I thought it was really good. I think it just about met the hype that I had for it. It didn't surpass it or anything like that. Which is to say, it had pretty big hype.
Yeah.
It did have pretty big hype. The characters are great. Yeah, a lot happened, but in the grand scheme of it, actually no. I'm gonna say that I think it paced pretty well.
Okay.
Because in the grand scheme of it, a lot happened, and it built to the conclusion of now we have enough pieces to find Gun Devil.
I guess that's true.
So I think it's a good first season.
Yeah, I think that with this whole Gun Devil thing, maybe I'm just impatient.
Yeah.
That could totally be it too. I was personally so hyped up for this because of all of the action and all of the different characters and things like that. I think I just kind of wanted to absorb it faster. Because I guess that's just kind of where I was, I'm like, oh my gosh, I want more now.
No, I totally get that. I also felt that way.
Yeah.
I feel like it's a really good show to binge.
Yes, definitely, yeah.
Because the thing with the action is that the action was really good, but in total, there wasn't as much as I thought there was going to be.
Yeah, see, and that was my thing. My thing is that I was expecting, I was sold on this idea of a really kind of action-packed show.
Yeah, and big, gory and bloody, like Dorohedoro.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the obvious difference is that with Dorohedoro, it has a different level of comedy to it.
Yeah.
Whereas Chainsaw Man just doesn't have that. Not that it isn't funny, but the comedy in Chainsaw Man is much drier.
It is, yeah.
And it's much more somber, dark comedy, as opposed to Dorohedoro, which is still dark comedy, but in a much more of a lighthearted way.
Yeah.
So, Chainsaw Man is a pretty serious show, and I want to say that it takes itself pretty seriously too.
Yeah, it seems like it is. One thing that I forgot to mention at the beginning is that more than likely we will probably be talking about spoilers.
Oh yeah, we're going to be talking about spoilers. Sorry, whoopsies, spoilers for everything we're about to talk about.
Yeah.
Yeah, but and maybe it's just because I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with this. But
I mean, you're from what I know, about, like, your interests. Mm-hmm. You aren't exactly the biggest fan of dry comedy and, like serious dark shows.
Yeah, I much prefer a dark show that has not dry comedy.
Yeah.
Like Devilman or like Dorihitaro. Where, like, those are both dark shows, but their comedy is much more apparent, and, like, they're parody, and they're
I was gonna say they're campy.
Yeah, they're campy. And this is not campy. This is very much like a seinen, supposed to be kind of realistic, like depiction of if Japan actually had, like, a demon problem and had, like, a division, that kind of thing. And which I'm, like, really interested in, because you could have, I mean, once again, I mean, in my mind, I'm like, okay, well, you could take, like, a Men in Black approach to this, right?
Yeah.
Where, like, you can still have, like, and they do a little bit where they have, like, they still have these, like, quirky characters where, like, you have to, your personality has to be a little bit weird and fucked up in order to do this job.
See, and
right?
that they even mentioned that.
Right,
they're like the people that stay in, like, the devil, like, killing, like, you have to be a little insane to survive.
Right. Yeah.
And, like, all of the characters are unhinged.
Yes. So with that being said, I'm looking forward to more.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I thought about reading the manga since it just ended and I want more. But, like, I'm pretty sure they already announced a season 2.
They did.
Yeah. So, like, I think I'll just watch season 2, honestly.
Yeah.
Next, speaking of season 2, Spy X Family, actually not season 2. It's part 2.
Part 2.
Because season 2 is coming out later.
Yes.
So it's part 2.
It's like they essentially wanted to make a 24 episode season, but took a couple of weeks break in between those. But they, in theory, it's a 24 episode season.
Yeah.
But it was in 2 parts.
Mm-hmm.
So part 2, I think the beginning, from what I remember, the beginning of part 2. So first of all, wait, okay. Let me try and remember. Okay. So I think that the beginning and the end of part 2 had some pretty strong plot points. And I think a little bit in the middle, it lulled.
Yes, agreed.
Because in the beginning, we got the dog. That was, like, the big thing, right? It's like part 1 ended with, like, oh, the dog is going to come. And then in the beginning of part 2, for the first 2 episodes, I think we have, like, the dog, right?
Yeah,
and, like,
how
we like got the dog, what's up with the dog, like, how is the dog gonna fit in the family, which was, like, pretty exciting. So that was cool. And then I kind of feel like it lulled a little bit. That isn't
I'm gonna bring something up about that later after you're done.
I was gonna say that it's not that it wasn't good, because I definitely remember some jokes hitting me pretty hard. Like, but there were all, like, really random jokes, like nothing, like, plot relevant, if that makes sense. And then at the end, we actually finally get some movement in the plot as far as what Lloyd is actually trying to do, which is contact. Is his name Desmond? Or is that his son's name?
No, his son is Desmond.
Okay. Desmond's dad. Like, trying to get in contact with this man so he can learn his secrets and stuff. I don't know.
I don't remember.
He finally meets him. Yeah. Right? And that was, like, a big kind of, like, moving forward plot point, and that's how the season ended.
Yeah. This is a show that... Okay, actually, before I go with this, this is a show that I'm surprised is actually liked as much as it is.
Really? Okay.
The reason for that is because of the pacing.
Mm-hmm.
So... Okay, so, like, a newer... when I say filler episodes, what it used to mean is episodes that are non-canon to the plot. I mean, non-canon to the manga.
To the manga, yeah.
So, like, Naruto had a lot of filler episodes that were non-canon. They had entire arcs.
Mm-hmm.
What it's kind of become now is episodes that don't advance plot.
Right.
and season 2 of Spy X Family, or part 2 of Spy X Family, had a lot of those. Yes. A lot of episodes are modern day filler.
Right.
Like the tennis episode.
Right.
And the episode where he changes her grades and runs into the other spy.
The other spy, yeah. Where all of those are really funny bits.
Yeah, they're really funny.
They're really funny and entertaining to watch. But it definitely was, like, not a lot of plot movement happened. And I do think that with the tennis thing, though, there's, like... I think the idea was to try and introduce some friction, but then it was kind of shot down pretty quickly.
It was, yeah.
Because it was all kind of the friction was kind of one-sided, right? Yeah. So, like, basically there's a woman who's in love with Lloyd that Lloyd works with. So, like, she's also a spy. And this spy is like, hey, like, we should be working together, not you and this other woman, which is Yor. She's trying to replace Yor. But, like, it's a very one-sided conflict where she's going to keep trying to replace Yor, but Lloyd isn't having it. Yor is, like, worried, but, like, it's not going to happen. Anya's not having it.
Yeah.
You know, whatever.
So, like, personally, I'm fine with shows that have episodes like this, because, like, it adds to the characters.
Yes, it does.
Yeah.
And it's still funny.
But a lot of, like, dare I say, new anime watchers aren't as big a fan of it.
Yeah. I think my favorite filler episode from this season, though, was whenever Yor was trying to learn how to cook.
Yes.
I really liked that episode.
Yeah.
I thought it was so sweet because it showed, first of all, it went back to this other female employee that she had where she... Like, it kind of just went totally, like, full circle back to, like, hey, remember Yor has this day job and, like, works with regular people?
Yeah.
And then, like, these regular people kind of think that she's sus because she wasn't married, but then suddenly she is married. And remember that Christmas party where, like, that woman went crazy? Anyway, that lady.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's like trying to, like, kind of pull it back to, like, show more about Yor and her more, like, day-to-day live stuff. It doesn't really talk a lot about her being an assassin. They kind of dialed back on that, if I dare say.
No, they definitely did.
Because,
that's like not even a thing anymore.
Like, she's definitely so, like, socially awkward.
She's like full housewife mode.
Yeah,
now.
She's socially awkward, and she definitely, like, still has, like, thoughts that are like, oh, I'm an assassin, and that's only comical because of how Anya reacts, right?
Yeah.
But we haven't seen... I don't think Yor did any sort of assassin work.
No. She showed her superhuman strength and agility.
Yes,
with
the tennis. Yes, but she never, like... Basically, it's like Lloyd has this whole spy thing where, like, you know, he's trying to infiltrate this government and stuff. But, like, why didn't the show give that same conflict to Yor?
Yeah.
Like, why isn't Yor trying to assassinate somebody big enough to where, like, there could be whole episodes about her trying to gather information also.
Yeah.
You know?
Which I think is really funny, because remember when we did like our first thoughts on the show, and we were like, oh, this is gonna be a Yor season.
It wasn't. No, it, like, showed her, like I said, it showed her learning how to cook, which is sweet and all. And other thing is that I feel like she talks about going on assassin jobs. Like, she'll be like, oh, that guy that I killed last week, and then the show just doesn't show it.
Yeah.
And it seems very, like, underhanded. And I think that, like, what makes this, like, story work is that it's a spy, an assassin, and a sidekick. Like, you know, being able to, like, emphasize those secrets.
Yeah.
And I just kind of felt like hers was like her secret of being an assassin is not very important.
Yeah, it really isn't. It just, the main, like, point of it is just to be like, I need to stay with Lloyd so that I'm not sus.
Yeah. But then, like, she doesn't really do any, like, it doesn't show her being sus.
Yeah.
It's still good. It's still a fun watch.
Yeah, it's definitely still good. I probably like season 1 better.
I did
or
too,
part 1. But that isn't to say I'm not looking forward to season 2.
Yes, I am too.
Another season 2, Pop Team Epic season 2. This was a gem.
Yes,
this was so good.
This was good. I didn't watch season 1.
Right.
I've seen probably like skits, you know, I mean online, see skits, but this was definitely like something that I looked forward to because it's so mindless.
Yes.
And it's just jokes.
It is.
And it's so funny. It really did make me laugh a lot.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. And I love how I can tell that they, you know, they give a lot of creative freedom.
Oh, definitely. Especially in this season.
Yeah, they give a lot of creative freedom, and it's fun to see that. Yeah, and, you know, one of my favorite episodes was the Helsing? Was it called Helsing? The
giant flip books?
Yeah, the flip book episode.
Yeah, I don't remember what it was, but there was an episode where the entire episode wasn't animated. It was giant flip books that they had drawn.
It was like deconstructed animation, right? So it was just two guys, like just two guys. And they had big flip books, and they would like switch them out and everything, but they would just flip through the pages, and they had like their lines, I think, written on the back, you know, so they could remember them. And they just acted out like a whole 15-minute skit. Yeah. With their flip books, like moving them around, and like different pieces were cut out. And that was just so cool to me.
It was so impressive.
It was so impressive. Honestly, I didn't understand a whole lot of the story. I know it's a guy who, like, there's like a magical guitar, I think, and there's a talent show, and I don't know what's happening. Yeah. But it was just so impressive to watch.
It really was. Yeah. This was also really interesting because it also did, like, genre, like, it did episodes based off of genres better than some shows in the genre. Like, there's an entire mecha episode, right? And the animation looks so good on it. Like, it is phenomenal, right? And this is just some silly 4-coma, right? Like comic strip
adaptation.
Yeah, adaptation. Which I'm really curious. Like, are some of these? I mean, there's no way these jokes are in the manga.
Not all of them. I think we've talked about how the longer form ones are probably not. Yeah. So I mean, one of them, off the top of my head, I'm thinking of besides the mecha one. Yeah. That one's not. But the Dora the Explorer one is probably not. Yeah. The Fortnite.
Oh my
Battle
gosh,
Royale. That's probably not actually in the manga, but because they're all kind of longer form. Yeah. Some of these are like really fast, and then some of them are like they take a moment to really let the jokes sit. You know. Right. So.
But yeah, very good. You don't have to watch season 1 to get season 2 because there's no connection.
It's just jokes.
It's just jokes. Yeah. I don't even think there was really a callback joke either.
There's a couple of characters that I like. The Cthulhu character, I don't really get him, but like I don't care.
There's no rhyme or reason.
There's no rhyme or reason. Okay, no. There you go. You see characters. There's no rhyme or reason.
Yeah, I think that it might have maybe, but it's just a thing. Right. It's no like ongoing joke or anything. Right, yeah. Then DIY. Yes. So DIY was very good.
DIY was really good. I think that it, like, talk about pacing. I think the pacing was really well. Mm-hmm. And it had, like, just enough tension, if that makes sense. Like, just enough things go wrong to where it was interesting, but not too many things go wrong to where you're just sad.
Yeah, true.
if that makes sense. So, like, I mean, like, of course, okay, two main characters, right, already, they know each other, but they're not friends. Yeah. Well,
they're kind of friends.
One-sided friendship kind of happening, right? So, throughout the show, obviously, that is being repaired in various different ways. And then they do, like, create a goal within the show, which was to build the treehouse, right? Like, about halfway through, they're like, this should be, like, our project, right? Which I think is pretty important if, like, I mean, that's any hobby sport kind of thing that you have to have something that is, like, your goal, right? So the goal is the treehouse. And it shows all the different ways that they, like, went about, like, designing it and raising funds for it and gathering for it. and then the main conflict, oh no, the wood is gone, which did make us very sad, but it's okay because it got resolved. You know, like everything was just kind of like very easy breezy and very nice. Yes.
Yeah. Speaking of easy breezy, it was very much like what was that show called? The
Keep Your Hands Off.
Keep Your Hands Off, Aizuken.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was very similar vibes.
Very similar vibes, yes.
Of like girls that are all kind of quirky in some way.
Right.
Especially the main girl.
Right.
And they come together because they have a shared passion. Or they come together because they've learned a shared passion.
Yes.
And in the end, they make something they really are proud of.
Yes. Yes, it ends on a very happy note. You know, the tree house is made, like everybody is friends. You know,
yes.
we don't have enough members for the club yet.
No.
But maybe we'll get there.
Well, let's get a season 2. Probably not.
Yeah. But it was nice.
It was nice. Yeah,
It was a nice
not
show.
everything needs a season 2.
Right.
But yeah, overall, very good.
Very good.
I'll say this now: nothing that we watched was bad, because if it's bad, we just drop it.
And I don't think we didn't drop anything.
We didn't drop anything.
We also didn't drop anything.
Yeah,
we would have told you.
Yeah. So those were all those shows that we mentioned, or those were the shows that are finished that we mentioned in our What's in Season episode.
When our What's in Season episode, right?
Actually, one more thing. So literally like yesterday, or maybe the day before that, Gundam, Witch from Mercury, released their final episode. And oh my gosh, it is so good. Witch from Mercury is like, has become like one of my favorite like Gundam series. It's so good, and because it started off with this, it's, well, depending on where you start, because there's a prologue to it, and that prologue shows some dark stuff, like a little bit of backstory dark stuff.
Okay.
And then you get thrown into the show that's like, oh, it's high school, but there's also mechs, and we duel, and it's also Utena, and there's a wife and lesbians.
Right.
And so like they have all these like relationship conflicts of like how to make friends and things like that. Also like space racism, which is all par for the course for
with Gundam.
Yeah.
Maybe not the lesbians, but
yeah. Gay, yes, par for the course. So in the last couple episodes, they really solidify the relationship between the two main characters, and they're like, I don't want you to leave my side, stay my groom, and like, so that I don't have to worry, things like that. And then in the last episode, they were like, by the way, this is Gundam, and you see war crimes. And the main character does some unhinged shit, and
to save
to save the other main character, and
her girlfriend,
yes. And it ends with her girlfriend being absolutely horrified
at the war crime,
right? Because it was pretty gory.
It's pretty gory. Yeah, that's the thing. I did not watch this with you, but you showed me the last scene, which is why I'm like,
yeah. Which, by the way, the last scene is after the credits. So if you didn't like skip the credits and watch this last scene, you could have totally missed it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was. There was a lot of people that this is their first Gundam show, so they had no idea this was coming. Which I've watched quite a few Gundam series, so I know it's pretty like standard for main character who is a child does something horrifying because the horror of war. So I'm excited for season 2. I'm very excited. I don't I didn't look up when it's happening, but I know it is happening. I think it might be like this next season. I'm not super sure.
Yeah.
But it is happening at some point, and I'm looking forward to it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, what we have next on our list are 2 shows that we started watching after, or came out after
Our What's in
we
Season.
released our What's in Season episode.
So we didn't get to talk about it.
Yeah.
Give our impressions, but now you're just going to get the review of it.
Yeah.
Basically.
Stone Ocean, final season for Stone Ocean.
Yes.
Finally came out. Finally.
Part 3, right?
Yes, part 3.
Of Stone Ocean, yeah.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, season 5, part 6, part 3. Finally came out.
So we had been watching this
Yes.
ongoing. Because like we just said, it was in parts that were
Yes.
very broken up.
Oh my gosh, Netflix. You did not want this show to succeed.
No, this was pretty disastrous breaking up.
Yeah.
Especially since it definitely ruined their press.
Yeah,
Like-
because they didn't promote it.
Yeah, it definitely ruined their press. Like, so terribly. But
I'm going to be so mad if part 6 doing poorly is like, oh,
we're not doing it anymore.
can't do part 7. I'd be so mad. I doubt that would happen. But like, if that happened, I would be so mad.
No, I don't
Part
think
7's my favorite.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna happen. But so we stuck it out though. We
Yeah.
watched all of it. This is my first full season of JoJo's Bizarre
Yes.
Adventure. I watched maybe the first couple of episodes of the very first season, and then I stopped.
Yes, and I'm up to date with the manga.
yes.
So I know everything that happens.
Yes, you are the fan, the resident fan. So I was excited going into it because because it was my first one. So
Yeah.
I just wanted to see what was up, you know? Like, I see the cosplays, I see the memes, like, you were sending me, you know, panels from whenever you
Yeah.
were reading it. And I was excited, especially since you told me that you really liked these characters.
Yes. So I guess we can. Okay. This is part 3, but we've never talked about Stone Ocean before, so we can kind of do the whole thing.
Okay, so
yes.
rundown. Okay, rundown. Jolene, which is the JoJo. Okay,
Yeah.
Jolene is in prison.
Yes.
In prison, she's in prison for stealing a car.
Murder.
Murder. I thought it was stealing a car.
Well, it was first for stealing a car, and then
There was murder.
There was murder.
Okay,
Yes.
so she's in jail, and they're in Florida.
Yes, that is important.
That's very important. They're in Florida. Is in the U.S. Florida
1999.
in 1999. So I do remember that the first couple of episodes, it was pretty basic, kind of just surrounding, like, she's just in jail. I don't know, like, she
Yeah.
doesn't have a grand plan hatched yet. And I kind of forgot how things get rolling. I think there's like
Her,
a gym, isn't there? Or a brooch or something.
Yes. So Jotaro, her dad,
Yes.
comes and is like, "Here's this," and then it nicks her, and she's like, "Stand ability."
Yep. It curses her and whatever.
Yeah.
So she gets her stand, which is like threads.
Yeah.
Like ethereal threads. She can like shoot threads out of her fingers and like do things with it. And then, but because of like the rule of JoJo, right, which is that
Yeah.
stands attract stands,
Yes.
other people in jail start to have stands, and then there's like some shenanigans with that. We don't have to
Yeah.
go into it.
Yeah. Things happen.
Things happen. There's shenanigans. They have jail time shenanigans. Like
Yeah.
a lot kind of happens, but okay. Eventually they break out. Let's
Yes.
just like fast forward.
End of part 1. They break out.
They break out.
Then
Somebody
they-
dies. They break out.
Yeah, somebody dies. They break out. They get caught again. She gets put in maximum security.
Yes. Okay. So then there's more stands,
Yeah.
and they're trying to break out again. But now she has friends in jail who are trying to also help her break out.
Yes.
In the hopes that they will all get to break out together.
Yes.
More stand shenanigans happen because there's the evil guy who is the priest
Yes.
at the jail. He's the evil guy, and he's kind of like handing out stands because he's trying to hope that these people will stop her from escaping or just kill her.
Yeah, it's
Or just kill her.
there's the reason he has the stands that he does is actually like kind of plot important.
Because
It's this very convoluted. I need these stands to get to heaven.
Yes.
Vague
heaven. Very really vague heaven. Okay, so more stand shenanigans. More of them trying to break out. They do break out. Somebody else dies.
Yes.
And that's the end of part 2.
Yes.
Right? Okay. So now in part 3, they're finally free.
Yes, they're finally free, running amok in Florida.
In Florida. There's alligators.
Yes.
There's Disney World, vaguely.
Mm-hmm.
Not copyright.
Except in the manga, it is explicitly Disney
In
World.
the manga, it's explicitly Disney World, but not in the anime.
Yeah.
So, more Stan shenanigans. Because once again, stands attract stands,
yes.
right?
So they are trying... So, the bad guy, Poochie, is the priest is going to Cape Canaveral. And so he got a head start, and they're trying to follow him.
To follow him, because there was a green baby, and he absorbed the green baby.
Yes.
Regular JoJo stuff, you know?
Yeah.
So, he absorbed the green baby, got the green baby's power, his stand has been evolving, it's becoming more dangerous. They are trying to get to Cape Canaveral to have him make sure he doesn't bring about the end of the world.
Yes,
right?
By the new moon.
By the new moon. It's like 3 days.
Yeah.
So...
It's a long 3 days.
It's a very long 3 days. So, more stand shenanigans. Just so many stand shenanigans. So, they get to Cape Canaveral. Gravity is inverted. Once again, it's part of his new superpower. But the priest's new superpower, Poochie. They fight him as a family. Her dad comes back from the dead and is with them. And, things get really fucked up.
Yep.
And everybody dies.
Yes, everyone dies.
Everybody dies except for one person.
Yes.
Which was a child who was part of the troupe. Of the ensemble.
Who wears a Cubs uniform.
Who wears a baseball uniform. And he survives. And then, basically, they all enter a parallel universe.
Yes, so Poochie reset the universe. He went so fast that he went beyond the destruction and creation of a new universe.
Yes, so then the child... Now it's just up to the child to defeat Poochie. Because he's the only one left from the original universe.
Yes.
The original universe. It happens, whatever. It's a heroic moment. Yeah. He defeats Poochie, and the universe resets.
Yes.
But it's still a little different,
mm-hmm.
because people don't have their memories. And then they get a happy drive-away scene.
Yep.
Okay, so that was the rundown. I'm just gonna go ahead and say. Okay, yes. I'm gonna try and make it fast.
Yeah.
So, all I want to say is that the show had its moments. I think that most of the good parts were while they were still in jail.
Yes.
Once they got out of jail, it kind of lulled for me. And that I'm not sure if JoJo's Bizarre Adventure is actually for me. Yeah. Because it's a lot of talking. It is so much talking.
It is a lot of talking.
It's a lot of talking and not a lot of action. And it's a lot of talking about... I'm sorry if this is a noise the mic can pick up me snapping my fingers. But it's just so much talking. And I'm like, oh my god, shut up and just do something. Anyway.
Yeah.
That's my take on JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Fair. Part 7 is my least favorite part.
Mm-hmm.
It has probably my favorite cast, though,
mm-hmm.
which is unfortunate because the situations they've been put in is just bad.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of convoluted stands that
mm-hmm.
don't make sense,
mm-hmm.
Or incredibly situational that are just like meh.
Mm-hmm.
When it comes to the show, part 1, good. Very good.
I think part 1 was really funny.
Very funny.
Yes.
Part 2, blah. Not a lot happens. That's when a lot of like boring. It's just like here's a stand, here's a stand, here's a stand.
Yes.
Plot,
Mm-hmm.
Part 3, pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
It probably has not because of the reset of the universe, but because of like just how it happened. Probably has one of my least favorite endings.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Not bad. Not my favorite thing this
Yeah.
season. Like, not by a long shot, but not bad.
Yeah. Not bad. Like I said, is my least favorite part, but that doesn't mean it's bad. If you like JoJo, watch it. You know.
Yeah.
You know, someone I actually saw a thing recently about like them like saying more than actually doing, and it's just like it's because JoJo is more about still frames than it is like it's about posing in still frames than it is actually action.
Yes.
And so it's one of those things where it's either you like it or you don't.
Yeah. And the thing is that I think sometimes it worked for me and sometimes it didn't. Is the thing. Like, basically anytime that Poochie was speaking, it worked for me. Because it was just funny. But if the whole point was that they were fighting and then they're like having this long-winded discussion.
Oh yeah,
like,
that too.
That, I don't like that. You know what I mean?
I have 3 seconds.
Yeah, I have 3 seconds. It's the longest 3 seconds I've ever sat through.
Okay, that was Stone Ocean. Akiba Maid War.
Okay,
Akiba Maid War. Mwah, mwah.
My season highlight.
Yes.
Personally, my favorite thing to come out of last season.
Yes,
Absolutely.
It was,
and it's such a shame that we weren't watching it whenever we did the What's in Season episode, because
it is phenomenal. It is
so good.
It is the hidden gem of the season. It is a Yakuza. It is a traditional Yakuza drama, but instead they're maids. It is
and it's
so
wonderful.
Good.
So essentially, it's 1999. We're in 1999, and we're in Akihabara, right? I think that's
Akihabara.
There we go. I was like, there's an H in there somewhere. We're in Akihabara, which is like a maid city. Like, actually, by the way, like in Japan is a place that has a lot of maid cafes. And what a maid cafe is you can just think of a regular, a sit down cafe, but there's like a little bit of a performance, a little bit of a show to it. And it's these girls that are dressed in different maid costumes, and there's usually like some sort of theme to like with it. And in this case, the show uses animals, right? So, this girl who has always wanted to be a maid goes and applies to, I mean, I'm not going to actually assume that she applied to several, and this is just the one that took her. Applies to a cafe, gets the job, and it's to the pig cafe. The Oinky Doinky cafe. With their pig girls, okay? And of course she gets there, and it's like all of these, I just love them so much. It's all these like jaded service workers. And I just like, I love them. I really do. And she's like the main character, right? Now, what she doesn't know is that the anime actually opens on a scene from the 60s?
Yes.
It opens from a scene from the 60s, and it has one maid shooting another maid. Like, murder. Shooting another maid, and the maid that shoots her, like, runs away crying, and then somebody else is like, oh, like, madam, and she's dying in her hands, and, like, that's, like, when you're like, oh, murder. We're getting murderous backstory here. So, this maid, who was from the 60s, fast forward, she's here back again at the 90s. Her name is Ranko. And she is 36. Like, she's an older lady. But she was also put in jail.
Yes.
She was in prison.
She was in prison. One thing that if you're doing a little math, it doesn't exactly make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
And it doesn't make sense in the show, because it says that she's 36, but it is also from, like, the 60s or 70s. Doesn't exactly add up.
No, the math doesn't add up on her age, but she is definitely 36
in
the 1990s era. So she gets out of prison for whatever reason, decides to join a cafe, only cafe that'll take her, once again, the Pig Cafe. Because, as we come to learn, it is the lowest cafe
on the totem pole.
On the totem pole. Like, it's really rickety, shady, the decorations are weird, the manager is awful, terrible woman, but like
so bad,
like terrible in a funny way. I don't mean like abusive, but I mean
she's
like
bad.
she's a gambler. Like she She's so funny though. Oh my god. This show is so good. But anyway, the episode ends with they can't make their like payment, their security payment to the top of the maid Yakuza group. So they have to go deliver a note to a different group, which the note is a very mean one, and the idea is that the girls at the other group are going to kill them. That's like the idea. Ranko knows this. This new naive little girl does not. So Ranko and the new girl go together. And they deliver this note, and there's at this bar, or at this maid cafe bar, and all the girls in the cafe, like, they read the note and then they pull out weapons. They pull out guns and they point them at her, and there's a new girl that's like, what is happening? Like, what is happening? And that is just so beautiful. And then Ranko pulls out a gun and shoots everybody, and it's a wonderful gunfight.
It is.
It's a wonderful first episode gunfight, and it just sets the tone for the rest of the season, and it's so good.
Yeah, the entire show is basically just like kind of stereotypical Yakuza setups, like an underground gambling bar or gambling casino, underground casino.
There's a fight ring,
club, things like that.
There's like internal tension, groups absorbing groups and whatever. But they're maids. Yeah. And the thing is that they play into the maid part. Like they do, yeah. They play into is this really serving you moe-kun? Like, you know, like they really play into it. And oh my gosh, and the ending is so good too. I think that this is like the perfect show to binge. Like, just watch it all at once, because our jaws were on the floor for so much of it. It is really, so funny and surprising.
Yeah. It is very good.
So good. There is all of the Yakuza stuff, but then also all of the cute maid stuff. It's wonderful.
So then shows that are still ongoing. I'll say mine real quick. My Hero Academia, season 6, still ongoing right now. It's good. I think that it did the best thing the show's ever done, which is kill characters, show disaster, like actually have the aftermath of all of these huge fights, and like not just like, I am the hero, here I am, win. Like, there's repercussions from it, and like I think it's finally interesting me again. Next would be Urusei Yatsura. Urusei Yatsura is fine.
It's fine. It's very much just a slice of life sitcom.
Yeah.
It's one of those things where, sure, there is a plot, and there is like things that are ongoing that are being added into the universe.
Mostly
like,
characters. Constantly.
Yeah. But it's just funny. I mean, it's just funny, and it looks really pretty.
It does look really pretty. I think it might be Dave Pro, which are the same people that actually do JoJo. Oh, okay. Which makes sense with all the colors.
Yes, but it's very beautiful, and I will say it's, in my opinion, I know that this is from like the 80s. Yeah. And it definitely still reads like it's from the 80s. Yeah. A lot of the humor is old. But I mean, it's either you like it or you don't. I think I can still laugh at it.
Yeah, so. I still laugh at it. Yeah.
But like a lot of like the more crude stuff, I feel like is very 80s. I don't know, like
the main character is generically horny. Yeah. And like,
hey baby, let's go on a date. Yeah, like super like cringe stuff.
Yeah. But like that's just how it is.
Yeah, that's definitely. I mean, it's part of it. So
yeah, and that's basically what a majority of the plot revolves around. So like. And I get why it seems like there's so many characters, because there's like 100 episodes in the original, with like so many movies and such. So they're just all cramming this into like 24 episodes. Yes. So like, I get it. And last but not least, Blue Lock. Yes. Blue Lock is also something really good.
Really good. Still going. Still exciting, I might add. And so we talked about it in our in a couple of episodes recently.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
But basically, soccer, Squid Game, right? Kids in a soccer tournament-ish.
No. Yeah, kind of.
Tournament-ish game thing where they get eliminated if they fail, and if they fail, then they can't play soccer professionally in Japan, which is devastating to them.
Yes.
They might as well.
This show has never made. Well, this show has made me think more about sports and sports theory than I've ever done before.
Yes, and it's fascinating. Honestly.
It is. It's really cool to see
really
the different perspectives different different athletes have.
Yeah, because they put in. Well, obviously there's a lot of characters because it's a tournament, right? So you have to have all these characters to constantly go up against as the story progresses.
There's 9 people on a team. 11, yeah.
11. So the show started with a set 11-person team, but now we're at phase 2. So everybody is now on their own. So they made friends, right? Or enemies.
Yeah.
And now they're on phase 2, so they're kind of broken apart. Maybe have some light alliances, right, with the people that you were on the team with. They go into phase 2. It is solo. The first test is just kind of like a goal.
I think it's technically phase 3.
Is this phase 3?
Yeah, because phase 1 was when they were all in the group together and they had to play tag with the ball.
Oh, yeah.
And then phase 2 was
the tournament team.
The tournament team. And now phase 3, they're working solo and then trio.
Yeah. So their solo mode is basically just making goals. There's more to it, but they're making 100 goals. Yeah. They have to try and make 100 goals. So once they do that, they go to the next part of the phase, which is creating a team of 3. And then it gets really complicated because then they go on 3-on-3 matches, and whoever wins gets to pick a player from the losing team to create a 4-person team, and then the 2 remaining people have to go back and hope that they can get another 3rd person and go at it again. And then from there, we keep building up on that, and then we were going to have 4-on-4 player, and then their idea is that they're trying to literally build the team.
Yeah.
Literally...
They're making the best team.
The best team that they can.
Yeah.
With this idea of losing and picking someone and then going on. So the first team that our main character has to face is the people who are ranked 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
So they're literally the top 3 players.
Yeah.
And they're only together because they're the top 3. They honestly have no chemistry at all.
No.
At all. They have no chemistry. Because they all have very different personalities. So the main character makes a team with one friend and one...
Frenemy?
Somebody that they beat in a previous match.
Rival?
Yeah. Somebody that they beat in a previous match, but this person is you beat me, so that means that you should help me win, though.
Yeah, that means you know how good I am. I know how good you are. We should be on the same team.
So that's the team. Spoiler, they lose.
Yeah.
Because, it's the top 3 players, okay? Yeah. They're in matches to get to the first to 5 goals. They get 2 goals in. That's cool. But, and a lot of, talk of, like you said, it's really interesting to see how, athletes can think on the field. And how our main character, his whole thing is that he has, the gift of perception, right? So he can see the whole field and not just what's in front of him, what's just happening right around him. But then how another player can kind of also have that gift and make it into a weapon of
forcing him to see what he wants him
to see. So for example, he will be the main character will be oh, if I kick the ball this way, I'll be in the prime spot for a goal and I'll be able to get around this rival guy. But then the rival guy is I have led you to this false sense of security, and now I'm on you, and now you can't make your goal.
Yeah.
So it's all very fascinating. They lost the friend
Yeah, they lost the friend.
They lost
The
friend.
ship.
The ship. I'm sorry. Okay, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I do ship them. Because the friend Bakura is probably my favorite. He's probably my favorite character. Like, honestly. So they lose him to the winning team, and now our main character has to try again.
And he says some real gay stuff. He's like, "You better win me back."
Yeah, he says, "You better win me back." So he's like, "I'm not gonna wait for you, but also you better win me back." So that's Blue Lock. Still excited to see where it goes.
Yeah, it's super good.
Yeah.
It's probably one of my favorite sports anime that I've seen. Like I said, it's interesting to see sports theory because all of this is about making teams,
Making a team.
making goals.
Yes.
Like how to be
How
the
it's
perfect,
done.
how to be the perfect athlete.
The formula.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah. And that's
everything.
That's everything. That's what we watched, and that's what we're currently watching. Hopefully, you maybe got a better idea of things that you would like to watch. But yeah, that is this episode of Konich-Yeehaw. Thank you so much for tuning in. I am Natalie.
And I'm Jared.
And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening. Yeehaw.
Yeehaw.